All right, good morning and welcome to another episode of Coffee with the County. Today I have the pleasure of seeing and meeting with one of the true leaders of Aiken County, our county engineer, John Welle. John, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here. I appreciate the time that you're spending with us. And John, you're as county engineer, let's just start with you. How long have you been our county engineer, and how did you get into that world?
Well, I've been the county engineer here in Aiken County since 1999. I guess after graduating from college in 1994, I immediately went to work for counties, started with Pine County for a couple of years, and then transferred up here to Aiken County. There was an assistant engineer opening. So I did that starting in 94, and 1999 became the county engineer. So have been ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a long time in one role.
It's
right?
a long time, but I don't know where the time has gone. It's gone fast. So.
Have you seen a lot of changes over the years in the county highway department and the roads and things like that, or?
Yeah, a lot of changes in processes. Things are always getting more complicated, more paperwork required. Yeah, things have changed, but yet things have stayed the same. We basically build roads and maintain roads, try to make our roads safer for the public, and that's kind of the common theme that has always been there and will always be there. So in that sense, nothing has really changed all that much. Just the processes have changed. Like I said, the paperwork, the regulations have increased. So we just have to react to all of that, and just keep providing the transportation services that the county needs.
And a great job you've done over the years, for sure. I know that you're highly respected in our area, highly respected from our organization, and you know your stuff, so that's always good. I get the pleasure of watching you sometimes in the board meetings and doing the presentations to the board. You know your stuff, and it's really good to have you here. We're excited to be with you. Tell me about the highway department itself. How many employees do you oversee at the highway department?
So the highway department has a total of 30 employees, including all of our different work sections. We basically have two primary work sections, maintenance and engineering. Our maintenance staff is our biggest staff. We have probably 22 staff in our maintenance area, mainly equipment operators, mechanics, and their supervisors. And then we have our engineering staff, our technicians that design the projects, inspect the construction during the summer when they're being constructed. And then we have a small administrative staff, small accounting staff, and myself, an assistant county engineer. So that pretty much rounds out the department.
Most of the time hard at work out on the roads, right? Most of the staff is.
It varies by year. This time of year, our engineering technicians, the construction is wrapped up, so they're in the office working on project development, whether that's design or permitting or right-of-way acquisition, or just doing all of the other things that we have to do. Bridge inspection this time of year is a major thing that we do. We're required to inspect all of the bridges in the county on a certain frequency, either 1, 2, or 4 years. So we inspect about 130 bridges, including township bridges. So that takes a lot of time, a lot of reporting. That happens every year from October through December. But it really changes from year to year. Our maintenance staff in the summer, obviously, they're outside for the most part, weather permitting. In the winter, a lot is determined by the weather. Again, snow and ice removal activities determined by the weather. Try to do other work on the roads as we can in the winter, depending on frost conditions, snow conditions, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's all of our staff really does a variety of work throughout the year. It's not just one thing throughout the year. It changes with the season, and I think the staff enjoys a variety.
Yeah, good flexibility in there and different projects. How far out do you have to plan road projects? Are you 5 and 6 years out on some of your planning?
So through our annual budget process, we actually have a 5-year road improvement plan. So 5 years is That's our formal program. Every year I ask the board to adopt the fifth year of the program. So this year, for the 2025 budget, we're programmed out to the 2029 construction season. We do that because not all of the projects that we do on our roads require that much lead time to get them ready, but some of them do. Some of them require even more. If we're doing a major improvement project, buying right of way, realigning a road, impacting wetlands and other environmental issues that we have to deal with, that whole process can take 5 and even in excess of 5 years. So we have that formal 5-year road improvement program in place at all times, and that's posted on our website. Beyond that, we have kind of an internal 10-year program, I guess you could call it, the 5 years beyond that 5-year period, where we're just trying to position different projects and trying to see what's coming in the next 5 years from a funding perspective, from a workload perspective, just from a staging perspective, making sure that the projects that we're going to do in that 5 to 10 year time frame is going to fit with everything else that's happening. So formally 5 years, informally 10 years is really what we're looking. So everything we're looking at is it's not necessarily just today, it's looking down the road, and
it's all into the future, and how can we affect long term the future, and how can we continue to do the great work that you guys are doing over there. I know that you mentioned county, right? All the county roads, and there's state highways. We know 210, 169, and other state highways. What about townships and township roads? How do you interact with our townships?
Well, that really varies by township. I guess I'd start by saying that we serve in an advisory role to all of the townships. One of the main things that townships are responsible for are their roads, and most townships don't have the staff to be experts at road construction, road maintenance, that sort of thing. So we advise townships a lot with questions that they have. Beyond that, we help them with their maintenance needs. There are a number of townships that we actually perform their road maintenance for on an hourly basis. They reimburse us for those costs. And beyond that, if there's improvements that are needed, whether for bridges or sometimes for road improvements, sometimes just for road maintenance, we offer townships those services. We partner with them to help deliver their projects. Sometimes it's as simple as including their projects with one of our bids, just so they get a better bid price and lower cost. Other times we're actually doing all of the engineering work for them under an agreement, and we deliver the project for them. So it really varies, but we work very closely with the townships. I think that's one of the things that I'm very proud of, just how we assist townships, because I can tell you that doesn't happen in every county in the state. But a small rural county like Aiken, I think that's an important service to provide, and I think the townships really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good way, collaborating together. And you mentioned in the small area, the rural area, that's kind of the way you have to do it. And hopefully, all the townships will take that opportunity to reach out and contact you guys and talk through some things. Can we blame you for the road construction on 169, or was that that's a state project?
Well, that was a state highway project. I guess to the extent that we advocated for that project for many years and pointed out the deficiencies with that road for many years. And like I said, we were strong advocates of getting the funding to move that project forward. So to that extent, you can blame us, I guess. The county board, they passed a resolution urging MnDOT to perform major improvements on that section of the highway. Over the years, I've gone up and down the corridor to every small city, Palisade, Grand Rapids, Hill City, as well as Itasca County, and we work to get resolutions of support, just trying to build the support to get that project done. And in the end, MnDOT always knew it was a project that needed to be done. It was just a funding issue, and luckily we were fortunate to finally get a funding opportunity, and the road was constructed. But it was MnDOT's project. Our involvement with it once it was funded was very minimal. MnDOT held the construction contract. They did all of the work related to the construction and the various detours. But yeah, we had to deal with the traffic that was detoured as a result of that traffic, or as a result of that project. We had a formal detour set up, which it wasn't a great detour. It was so far out of the way that a lot of people used other routes, so we had to really step up our maintenance, increase our frequency of maintenance on some of those other unimproved roads that got a lot of the construction traffic. But yeah, we got through it. The summer was good to us, and the conditions were good. The public was good, obeying obeying the speed limit signs we put up. I know that was one of the big complaints, was excessive speed on some of those routes. But yeah, we worked through it, got through it, and we have a nice new state highway serving the area.
Yeah, that's awesome. A little short-term pain for long-term gain, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm really glad that you mentioned, humbly, the work that you did on the detours and the so-called local detours that were taken. I know that there was a few roads that you mentioned were not part of the detour that local people found to be quicker or easier, and that's not an easy task to take care of those roads the way that you did. So
well, no, it's not easy to maintain a gravel road with 1,500 to 2,000 cars a day on it, and that's what those roads had this summer. And we knew that was going to happen when we were talking with MnDOT about the detours. There just wasn't a good detour route that a lot of the traffic was going to follow. We said even before the project happened, if 50% of the traffic follows the detour route, the signed, official detour route, will be lucky. But that leaves the other half that is going to find other routes on these, unimproved roads that take them where they want to go. So it wasn't unforeseen. I know a lot of people in their frustration over the summer asked why we didn't improve those roads, why we didn't pave those roads. It just wasn't feasible to put that sort of investment in for something that was needed for 4 or 5 months in 1 year. So, we did the best we could. In wet conditions, obviously, the roads got a little rough. In dry conditions, they got a little rough. When moisture conditions were just right, the roads were actually in pretty good shape. So, we did the best we could dealing with the weather, and like I said, we got through it. Luckily, no major incidents or crashes on any of those routes. That was a concern. We did have a number of trucks and vehicles run off the road from the soft shoulders, especially early in the spring. But other than that, it went about as well as we could expect.
Awesome. A job well done, like always, in the highway department, from what I understand. So very much appreciated. Anything that you want to cover? Anything that I haven't asked you yet?
Well, we're obviously into the winter season now. It took a while to get here this year, but it's here now, and snow and ice on the roads is going to be something that we're going to be dealing with likely for the next few months, unless we have another winter like last winter, which isn't likely.
Yeah.
But I just encourage motorists to drive safely under the winter conditions. Everybody knows you need to slow down when roads are snow covered or could be icy. Allow extra time. All of those tips that you've heard so many other places, but just really urge motorists to take heed of those bits of advice to try to get people to their destination safer. Everything we do in the highway department, I always say everything we do comes back to motorist safety. And in the winter, especially, motorist safety is a concern because the roads just aren't in as good of condition. You can't drive them in the same way you drive them during the other times of the year. So winter is kind of a unique time when we just all need to take extra precaution when we're on the road, make sure we all stay safe and get to where we're going safely.
Well, that's an outstanding message. And thank you for everything you do for the residents here, residents and visitors of Aitkin County, on making our roads safe and drivable and passable, and as much as we can to make them safe. We appreciate everything that you guys do over there.
Yeah, well, thank you for the opportunity. Good to get the word out.
Thank you for coming in. You are talking with one of Aiken County's finest, John Welle, County Engineer, and this is Coffee with the County.